They found a nuclear bomb while picking up trash, mistaking it for valuable scrap metal. They immediately pried it open to remove the inner metal core. They then sold it to a junkyard for a low price. Neither of them had the slightest idea that the container held deadly radioactive material inside. It could wipe out an entire neighborhood in an instant. The junkyard owner, John, didn't recognize what it was either. He bought this ticking time bomb for just $10. That night, his two sons, out of curiosity, actually pried open the inner core. This opened the door to disaster completely. When John turned off the lights to leave work, he glanced at the core by chance. To his surprise, it glowed an eerie blue in the dark. John thought he had found a treasure, but he had no idea it was an unexploded nuclear bomb. John hid it at his home that same night, determined to sell it for a high price when the time came. 10 days passed, and everyone in John's family suddenly fell seriously ill. His hair fell out in clumps. His wife felt dizzy, nauseous, and completely weak. At first, everyone thought it was just a minor illness. But as the symptoms kept getting worse, Lisa became convinced that this strange object was poisoning the whole family. John, however, didn't care at all, thinking Lisa was just overreacting. When John left the house, Lisa, having had enough, took their oldest son, carried the bag with the radioactive source, and boarded a bus. She headed for the health inspection office, but they had no idea how deadly the object was. They carried the radioactive source onto the public bus just like that. Everyone they came into contact with, every handrail they touched, was unknowingly contaminated by radiation. Mary anxiously explained the situation to the Inspector General, saying the object was extremely dangerous. But the Inspector General paid no attention at all. He neither secured it nor reported the incident. He just left the deadly radioactive source sitting in the yard. When Lisa arrived at the hospital, she found the building packed with patients with identical symptoms. Her condition was so severe that her skin began to blister and rot. The doctor immediately diagnosed acute radiation poisoning and quickly contacted Dr. Marcio, a nuclear quantum physicist. Dr. Marcio rushed to the scene with a radiation detector. The device immediately went off the charts. This was no ordinary leak. The radioactive source was completely out of control. He pushed his way desperately through the crowd and found that the police were actually planning to throw the source into the river. Dr. Marcio immediately rushed forward to stop them. After tracing the source, they learned that the radioactive material came from an abandoned radiotherapy clinic shut down 3 years earlier. Dr. Marcio immediately reported the incident to the National Nuclear Commission. Dr. Oren claimed the machine had not been recorded, and they had no idea if it had been removed. What's even more horrifying is that the machine was not a cobalt therapy unit. It was cesium-137, the same deadly isotope released in the Chernobyl disaster.